in a dirty world. Dirty, 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 dirty world. Talking clean in a dirty world.
Hello, everyone. This is another episode of Talking Clean in a Dirty World. And as you can see, we're all here. It's technology is working for us today to some point. You know, every time that we get together, we talk about a different topic. And the first one I wanted to talk about was this one that I saw about restrooms and hygiene. And if I can get the button right here, this is the one here. It says, survey reveals occupant hygiene preferences in restrooms. And I think this was very interesting because last week I had a student here in the classroom, and we were talking about the most contaminated surface in a restroom after the cleaning staff had done their job. What would you think that would be, gentlemen?
The handle in the door stall.
Yeah, you took the class. You remember that from a long time ago there, Javier.
I still remember what you taught me.
We actually did a test, Dave. It was if they have a handle on the paper towel dispenser, that one is usually high too.
Well, the reason that it's usually that one in the door stall, as Javier said, is because it's what the custodian or the janitor doesn't actually service.
Well, it's getting a lot better nowadays. Most things are some sort of touch-free. Either you're just touching the paper towel and pulling it yourself. I say a lot of that. I mean, maybe 80% of that nowadays, or an automated dispenser of some sort for paper towel. But if they have an old lever action, definitely it just goes to the improper way people wash their hands and then touch that lever. Just breeds it. But
it seems like there's definitely more automated soap than there is paper towels. It's interesting. You know, when you go to hotel, especially like in hotel bathrooms, I noticed that anyway, that there's more that the soap machine is automated, but they're still got the old fashioned lever, like Bobby said. So it's weird. It's not consistent, kind of.
Yeah, you see a lot of mechanical touch free where you grab your towel you're using. I guess the issue too is you got to get out of the bathroom, and a lot of times, even though you've done the obstacle course and not touched anything, if you get to the door and you don't have that paper towel with you, you got to open it.
But Dave, I taught that class last week before last, whatever it was. And I asked each one of those classes, I did 8 sessions, and each session probably had a good 20 plus people in it. And not one person got that answer correct. And when I told them about it, they go, oh yeah. I said, you walk in there, you open the door and you do whatever you're doing, and then you back out, and the backside of that door never gets looked at. And they go, oh yeah. I'm thinking, all right, we're back to square one. As we've talked about many times, we're back to square one with these folks because they're not picturing the implementation of this facility. If you walk in and you use the facility, picture yourself walking in, what all are you touching or are you going to touch? And that's where you should start cleaning. And they don't think that way. They've not been taught to think that way. It's more robotic thinking than it is out of the box or conceptual thinking. So I just, like I've preached before, I think we're back to square one with our entire industry and going back and saying, okay, let's do it, including the automation part. We were putting automation in the 90s. We were putting automatic faucets in, automatic hand dryers, everything. Everything was automatic in the 90s. We were perking right along. And then the budget hits, and the people who were interested in that got moved on, moved up, moved out, and the interest faded away. And I saw that over time, and now there's absolutely nothing being talked about that way. Nobody's ever, at a long time now, nobody's come to me and say, hey, I want to automate my bathroom, my restroom. Nobody talks about it. It's up to us to implement that. I think we need to revitalize that a little bit. COVID started a little, but that even the automation part wasn't a big deal to them as much as it was just to sanitize things.
Well, do you believe that's because we're fully automated now in restrooms? Because I don't see that we're fully automated.
We're not automated, only in high-end buildings. I mean, your Class A buildings will have it sometimes. Some school systems have gravitated to parts of it, but not all of it. It really depends. It's all driven by the person in charge of all that. If they have an interest and they have a concern about it, they will drive it through the pathways. if they don't have any interest, they won't spend them. It's my experience. They won't spend the money on it. They don't see a need for it. So until there's a crisis, there's no need. I think we missed the boat during COVID. We should have been pushing all those automations.
So Javier, you're out there. You're the one servicing these buildings. Do you agree with Class A, or is the only ones that have it?
I have to agree with Don. I mean, he's absolutely right. You go to the more upscale buildings or even some hotels or whatnot, and there's an implementation for that because it's a budgetary thing, and they've got more money to work with, or they allocate more money that they feel is important for this sort of situation. But Don's right. In 90% of the buildings that we work with, we function. Yeah, it's not involved. And then it's true. If you try to present it or tell them, hey, look, this is what you should be doing. This is what you should look for or purchase anyway, as far as the machines go, they'll tell you the same thing. It's hard to convince. Oh, we only have so much budget for restrooms. We only have so much budget with that. We have to keep the cost low because paper goods are expensive. Soaps are expensive. All that sort of stuff is what they'll tell you. So they got to cut corners somewhere. So yeah, I agree with Don. I think that it's the Class A buildings, no doubt.
I think it's more I think it's more of the attitude of the folks in charge.
Mm-hmm.
I think as you look at the report here, it says touchless fixtures, minimize cross-contamination, germs in restroom, improve the hygiene, make it more comfortable. They think by this survey that 60% of people are more likely to return to a business that offers these touch-free capabilities. Bobby, he mentioned, Javier said something about cost. Is it really more cost effective to go this route?
I don't. I kind of was listening, but I kind of disagree with the premise, because you guys are saying we don't have touch-free in non-Class A buildings, or they don't have touch-free in Class A buildings. And I'm thinking, I don't know if it's a matter of touch-free or if it's a matter of single touch. Like a mechanical hands-free paper towel dispenser to me is a touch-free dispenser. That I'm grabbing the towel I'm using. Of course, we want an auto flush urinal, auto flush toilet. I want the water in the sink to turn on. Do I care if I hit the soap and wash my hands? Probably not. But if that was auto, that would be nice. And if I have a mechanical where I pull the paper and it cuts, I'm only touching the paper I'm using. So I'm feeling comfortable there. And that paper is no different price than any other paper if it was had a lever on it. And then I just got to get out of the bathroom. So does the bathroom have doors and handles? And do I have a small paper towel there and a garbage can so that I can use it as a glove, or as it says in there? So, and I see setups like that all the time. And I see it in school systems, and I see it in Class A. I see it in regular restaurants and all that kind of stuff. So I do think there's quite a bit of that, and there's awareness to it. Dave, I sent you a video that we published 9 years ago on YouTube. And it was because there's this, and it's the pop culture version of it, of hand dryers and paper towels, and how people were thinking of the germs that were happening in the restroom just by switching out from paper towels to hand dryers. And that was 10 years ago on The Big Bang Theory. So
I remember that.
That message is out there, and it's just a matter of connecting the right products to the right budget that gives the person that type of experience when they're in the restroom. And I just emailed you the video, Dave, if you want to play it.
Well, I'll put it in the recorded part here and throw that in for the viewers to be able to get to and look. And I'll put it in the show notes as well, folks.
Well, I will say also that I asked each class, I said, you guys, you notice that guys just do what they're doing and then walk out, and they're all going, yeah. And probably some of them even do it. But the ladies immediately spoke up and go, yeah, the women do it too. It's like, oh, okay. I didn't know that.
You know what's funny though? It is how you, even like with us, and obviously with our people, our employees, we train them, make sure that we train them to cover all bases of the restroom. Make sure that they're doing it. But you'd be surprised how some people you hire that have been been in the cleaning industry or have been doing other things, that they don't even regard the stalls of being important whatsoever. Nothing. No parts of the stalls, not and certainly not the handles. So they're like oblivious to this, you know. It's like, oh, really? You got to clean the stalls? You got to do this?
Are they just in like refill and refresh mode?
So, I mean, to me, I just find that weird, you know. It's
So
like,
focused on the toilet.
Exactly. Everything is all about the toilet.
Swish and go.
Well, gentlemen, this is the reason I brought the conversation up. I think that they're usually, and I think, as you said, Bobby, 10 years ago, we were talking about this. We saw an uptick in automation. What's hands-free, but where does hands-free need to be? And are we actually taking care of? And I think this all goes back to, during pandemic, there was a big awareness of everything. Now that we're on the other side, supposedly, what's going to be the ramifications from this? Gentlemen, any parting words before we leave this subject?
I think we pretty well covered it all.
Do more automation, take care of yourself, make sure that it's safe whenever you walk out of that restroom. Make sure it's safe for other people. And if you will, please follow us, like and share what you see here. If you like what you've heard and you want to hear some more, please let us know. You can contact us and follow us at Jim Supply on YouTube. And of course, we'll put all the things in the show notes. I'll put a link to this study in there as well. And we would like for you to come back for another episode of Talking Clean in a Dirty World. Thank you, folks.
Talking clean in a dirty world. Talking clean in a dirty world. Dirty, 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 dirty world. Talking clean in a dirty world.